Okay, guys, I think, oh yeah, we are live. Continuing the work on this guy here. Oh, sorry. Here we go. As you can see, I have broken the sword. In fact, I had broken it once, and then while painting the shield, I had to take the miniature like this, too much pressure, and snapped again. And so I will leverage this and leave the sword. In fact, I broke it first to paint the shadow of the sword here. You can see that. And so I will leave it as is. I also have to paint the back of the sword, and so if it's glued on, it's not convenient. And so, yeah, I will leave it as is for the rest of the painting. Just at the very end, I will glue it back like this. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool enough. I may have to pin it because. Well, anyway, once it's painted and finished, I won't be handling the sword anyway. So, so here I have to finish, especially two reflections, like one here and like kind of the purple one here. I've blended, I've refined the blends of everything here at the top and everywhere here, in fact, kind of everywhere, but I'm still finding that I'm doing one reflection after the other for the refinement to make sure I'm not doing too much, and now it's more of the assemblage, if I may say, of the different reflections, and so one by one, just to avoid messing everything up. My paints are ready on my palette, and so I will be ready to start. I will first initiate with oh, let me have something here. Okay, perfect. Like this. Okay, and I will start with a dark brown and glazing over this one. I think I need a warmer reflection. So here I have many things to take into account. The color first, it's true, so the hue, also the value, and the warmth. And so you see this whole miniature is bathed in nightlight from his left side, so on our right. And so that's why here I have cold tones, but I think here I will use a warm brown, just pretty dark glazing over it. And so the consistency of the glaze has to be very precise here. Not too much water. And you see I'm working my consistency directly on my thumb here, and this is getting good. I get coverage and it will be noticeable, but at the same time, okay, let's do it. Something like this, and I will let it dry and glaze once more. And here I just noticed I need a bit more body for the paint, because I really want to mark it. But if I do it with something that is, how to say, diluted enough, I already have smooth transitions. So I think I'm already gaining some warmth on the thing. So good. Let's do it again.
Oh yeah,
I'm getting some warmth, but you see, still smooth transitions, or I think I see a line here in the black area, but nothing too drastic. And so that means with one pass of a darker color, I will be able to blend it. But the blend comes last, and
I like this kind of
purple I've done on the very left here. It's pretty desaturated. It's kind of a pink. I will let it be just underneath this brown coat I'm doing.
I'm going a bit maybe
Too strong here, but let's try.
on the right side.
It's definitely well blended. Left side will require a bit of dark, but I will redo the red reflections from the cape, and so I'll do it at the end. And so you have to be patient if you glaze, but in fact it's not hard. I'm kind of shaking now because I worked out just before the painting session, but it's not really a problem. Also have my hands up in the air for the camera. I'm not resting on anything. But you see something interesting. I don't know if you see that on camera, but how I'm connecting my two hands like this. And so this hand rests on this hand. And so if they move, at least they move together. And you would know that if the relative movement then null, how do you say, zero? So
And I like the glazing
approach. It's a long, but it's a fine tuning. And so I think here I'm pretty much where I want to be. Maybe a bit more, but not that much. And now I have a warm brown here. I think it's pretty nice. Just what I needed. I kind of have a highlight on the left. I will just smooth some here. I can see, you see these dots here. I don't know if you see it. Yeah, you see it here. This line here. I will fill it, and then I will move on to my next reflection here. So in fact, that was 8 minutes of live, so maybe 4 minutes of painting.
And I've
filtered. Yes, I've applied the filter, in fact, on my oh, blood, too much water. You see this big drop? The problem with the big drops is that they make a stain. And so I've applied one more layer of that filter just to avoid the stain. And so this should really be my last filter, otherwise it's gonna get too much saturation. And that's not what I want. I want how to say, downplayed, warm, dark brown. Exactly, and that's exactly what I got here, so okay.
And from afar, you see that
that's the style I'm going with on this miniature. Very fantasy look. So the reflection, I'm aiming for something that is more colorful, punchy, artistic than realistic, and it's a lot of fun. It's okay. leaving some room for creativity. So now I'm just filling the gap here inside. You see. It doesn't have to be perfect either. But yes, that was, I think, a nice filter working pretty well on this.
Something very
important with the glaze is that you have to wait for the layer to dry before going over with the next layer. But as you see, I think within 2 seconds it dries, and so I love it because you have the time to watch what you're doing. Sometimes you're painting with a furious fever, and then you stop and you're like, what have I done? This doesn't look right. And so here I like to watch what I'm doing and monitor the next move.
So here glazing
Glazing in the center because the blends on the side are really pretty well done. So okay, I think it's good like this. Pretty happy with that. And now to this reflection. So I won't leave it this dark blue. I have, in fact, on my palette some of that same brown, but I will mix these two. In fact, I'll show you
these two together. So we have something
pretty desaturated, but you will feel that it is kind of purpley, browny, depends. I go with a 50-50 mix so that there is nothing that is overtaking the other one. But let me mix it on my palette, just having a drop of this and a drop of that, and then mixing together. Looking for the balance that I'm trying to build here. Okay, I will darken it and desaturate it slightly with some dark gray. Oops, sorry, I'm managing my palette. Here we go, that's me. Very good, a thumb up. So I'm not moving my palette because it's full of water. I'm afraid to drop some water everywhere. Okay. Oh yeah, exactly. Saturating the thing with some dark gray is exactly what I needed. It's a bit light. Let me check. Yeah, this should be pretty dark. So let me add some of this. It's like cooking. Oh yeah, that's a salute. Hi, François Marion. Are you French or Canadian? You know what? Let me check. Yeah, I will have this to darken a bit the mix. So in fact, the drop I add on my palette, I will show you. here we go. Family, that's the palette. And so in the initial brown, this, I'm free man, an American. Okay, because François, you know, is French. And so the purple here, but it was a bit too light. So with some light and saturated, that's with some gray. And then I will add some of that very dark gray here, just a little bit into the mix. Adding more paint, maybe a bit more of that purple, because that will the black will desaturate again. And so up, here we go, like this. I don't know if you can see that. Bit more brown. Here we go. Exactly, that's what I was going for. This, very good. Okay, and so it's a mix of paints that are already on the shield, and so it's not to have already many. Oh, goddamn! Yes, exactly what I would say would happen if I move the palette. Just happened, but it's okay. A little bit. Now I have that very strong color. Yes, I understand. My name is very French indeed. How would you even say that in American? François. Is my pronunciation correct? François. I have a hard time believing you're American. I'm sorry. Because if you would be called, I don't know, sometimes there are French names. I've never seen that, like a French name said in American, and you know, not to challenge you on your identity. Just trying to understand. François. Okay. Well, thank you for your nice words. I'm going for an artistic approach, hence the many colors, because here I'm going, let's say, full fantasy on this guy. You see the broken sword. I will fix it at the very end. But let's apply my mixture while it is fresh. Breathe in, breathe out. And let's go. So here I want a bit of coverage, and I'm willing to rework the blending later. And so that's why I have a bit more loaded brush, but of course, relatively speaking, because relatively loaded for a glaze. Yeah, now it's not much more of a glaze, but you see the tint, and it will show like in values. The best brass NMM I've ever seen, to be honest. Wow, well, that's a huge compliment, because it's very exploratory for me, and so I think I've worked 3 half days on it, you know, just to get the right positioning. I've refined the hues a lot. Once I had the reflections, a copper. Yeah, it's meant to be a copper, but you know, again, I think it's the art is in the eye of the beholder, and so yeah, so it's still pretty dark and rough, but I still at least I have my good coverage. And I will, and it's very dark, but because I will have darker on the side, just left and right. It is fine, and some of these reflections, they have to be dark. If everything is bright, then there is no, you could take a screenshot and look at black and white, and you will see like this 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And even this one is a bit strong, but not that much. The thing is, the color contrast is very vibrant, and so it looks, but in fact the value is not huge on this reflection. So it's all about the colors, so the hues, the values is, I think, is the most important, and the position. And now I'm just adjusting the hues, in fact, to make something that looks like copper instantly, but with some room for artistic interpretation. Yeah, I think that's enough. Yeah, otherwise it's going to get too saturated. But I could always glaze it with some very dark brown to make it fall back. But I think it's dark enough, and so now you can see, are those print lines on the shield? They are print lines, so it's very unfortunate because printed this. Look at the sword; it's dreadful. Like this, you see this. I reworked slightly with some green stuff, let's say, but the print is bad. You know, it's okay. It's not like it's not going to the Louvre museum. But yeah, the print, you see the print line here and here, there has been a kind of staccato in the printing, also on the torso and everything. So good, well spotted, because I think yeah, so it's a bit of shame, right? On this angle is very obvious. Some hard coat would fix that. Yeah, I don't care much because this is just practice. You see, it's not. I think I'm just looking to learn, and not even really. Okay, let me check the right paints. Yeah, this one, this dark brown, to feather the edges, and yeah, smooth the blend, and then I will do the red reflections. But now I'm so far in the painting, I don't want to do some hard coat. Is that a varnish, you mean? Of course, I would not like do anything that would affect the painting, because I'm at the stage where I've done a fair amount of work already on the miniature. Hard coat, or are you referring to the Games Workshop hard coat? But it is a varnish, in fact, right? I don't think it would fix it though, but I will varnish at the very end, prime with a varnish can. I have some Vallejo matte primer. Okay, so now I will be smoothing out the edges, and I like that this is the same, more or less, color as this, but it's a lot darker in value. So I will start with more water, more subtle, just to feather the edges. So I dot on the edges. Oh, it's a bit strong. Yeah, it's a bit strong. Way too strong. I will wait for it to dry, maybe, and see. It's really strong, for real. And I'm seeing also here, the reflection could go here, the brown, so. Yeah, I will leave it like this, and then I will do the reds. Yeah, won't fix the cloak, yes, the clear varnish. It can be layered up as a smooth and print line being clear, and then paint over it exactly. Oh yeah, I would not paint again on the. I'm thankful for the input, but I would not bother like spending, how many tens of hours to paint over. I think it's pretty hard, in fact, to paint over something to make it like if you had to fix a mistake, because you have to incorporate. I suggest hardcore specifically because it's thick. Yeah, I understand. But the amount of work, I'm not willing to to put in that much work, especially to repaint and incorporate into an existing paint job to have it match is a pain in the I don't know, is it Peggy 13 or what? But you know where the pain would be.
Okay.
I have some stains now here. That's why when I do the final glazes, I like to go over everything. Oh, got rid of it. Nice. Okay. So see just this area, I will go a bit stronger with the paint consistency just to cover it quickly. Maybe it doesn't matter so much because I will have the reds on top of it. So you see a few brush strokes. I'll wait for it to dry, another few brush strokes, and repeat. Rinse and repeat. I think this is, you know, just some funny painting, you know, something. But yes, it's a less than ideal solution, but I think it's probably is about at the point of the project you are at. Maybe, or the easiest would be to leave it as is. And next time I will print better, and you know, it's just well, not the first, but I think it's the first time I paint something that is not Warhammer, I believe. So, you know, or Warhammer related, like you could have some proxy miniatures for Necromunda. I've done that before. Okay, time for the reds. And so I think I will incorporate some red into this reflection here. Let me think. Oh, yeah, maybe here. It's a bit too 1, 2, 3, like too symmetrical. Let me reflect a moment. The most important, because if I start right away to paint the red and it's not at the right place, it's just counterproductive. So here I have dark brown and redoing the shadows around the breathing. Yeah, and so I forgot to breathe. Bring that oxygen to the brain and
Hit me with
the right position for this red highlights. You know what? Yeah, I don't want to do something that is. I wanted to break this orange here. I bought a garage kit of a girl on a moped in a puffy winter coat and camping supplies. Yeah, it's a good change, a break from Games Workshop miniatures. I really appreciate the work from the STL studio. Like they make miniatures, and I think this is very pleasant to paint. I've enlarged the miniature a bit for printing. So I have these white areas, not too much detail, and so I have some room for, you know, this kind of stuff I'm doing right now, which is exactly what I want to be painting. Yeah, my red reflection would be here, I guess, here. I cannot have it in the middle here, I think it's too symmetrical. So I'm just having one brush stroke, waiting for it to dry. I think you can see it on camera, right? Yes, on camera you can, well, in fact, with my bare eyes, I can see the print lines. It's all right, it's all right. Okay, pretty much it's okay because, let me check. It's okay because I will work on the red reflection, so I may have to rework the blend again. Okay, so just like I said, I will have one here to break the symmetry. If I have it here, it will look very boring, but here, two of them are close together, I think would look pretty nice, kind of off center. So I have my dark red, yeah, so very dark red on the palette. Well diluted. Yeah, something like this, you know, I can always blend. Let's go. Oh my god. Precision, where are you? Precision left the chat. Okay. Now let's do some serious job here. Enough fun. Okay, and right away I will correct the shape of it. Especially because my paint is not dried yet, always on a wet palette. a small one, a big one. And I will highlight, but not too much. So the small dots, you see, in fact, I was feeling a kind of feeling, you know, to feel something. There was here kind of a black area, black dots in the middle. And so dots, in fact, they deposit the pigment exactly where you want it. If I swipe, they deposit at the end of the brush stroke. And so here I don't need to be smooth on the blend. I just want, because it's inside already, it's not on the edges. Here is the, you see the side. So okay, let me think of how. Here I already have some red reflection incorporated pretty well, I believe, because I have this purple, I think, transition. I think I may need to do the same here. And the purple also is great because it's just like the left side here. So you see, it's trial. Maybe it's not the best, but oh, you know what? I think now I can do a smaller, even smaller reflection here of the red. So I do it because that was my initial idea, to have one here, really smallest. Have to be very careful because I've done all the blend work here. Yeah, something like this. Oh yeah, okay. Nice, so I have been building up the red here. You see it's getting more and more intense and more noticeable. And yeah, I think this, because you see here the light is hitting the cape, so it makes sense that this would be the main area receiving the bouncing light from the cape. And so that's kind of the logic, trying to, that's how I came to the, you know, I could have one here as well. Let me think. It may be too much. So let's do this first, and then I will allow myself to think. Because that's a piece of work. Let me check. What kind of paint did I use here already? I think, yeah, I used a purple. So I will have to, yeah, I will integrate it first and then highlight. And so integrating, it means taking this Oxford, which is a bluey purple, and the next one is this. Yes, okay, this is looks blue in the bottom, but in fact it's the kind of purple you see is pretty strong. Well, you know what, let me start with this first. Maybe it's enough. I don't have much room, right? I mean, if I put my finger nail here, you see it's not big space, and so that's the miniature world for sure. So you see the paint, I try to have just a little dab of paint on the palette because I have many paints. This is kind of a rainbow stuff right here. I have many paints, many colors, and so it's easy to get the palette crowded very quickly. And so now you see, yeah, that's pretty intense purple here. I need it very diluted. Yes, I will do it on the red. And what I mean by that is inside the red and not in the outside. And oof. Forgot to breathe. Here, directionality is very important. Yeah, I think that's about the direction I want to go. even though, you know, the impact of one layer isn't huge, here you definitely can see the problem. So trust the repetition. And also it allows me to refine the shape with each pass. You know, if one pass isn't perfect, it's not a big problem. I think that's very important. Okay, let's try something like this first. It's very slow work, I'm not gonna lie. But I think the result matters more than the time invested. You know, there is no point for me to try to paint without pushing my limits. Wait for it to dry. Wow, okay. So you see how I worked the purple over the red, now the red over the purple. All of this to get just the right shape, the right intensity. I think now I'm pretty much ready to highlight. So here I think there was a miscalculation to go over this here. Should blend directly on top of it, so yeah, I will just redo here this area. You see, this area here. With this, and then glaze back to the shadows with this. Okay, now back to the darker brown. It's getting better. Almost there. And all of this just for a tiny little red reflection. Yeah. Okay. Now to the very dark. We'll take yeah, this dark brown. It's a green brown, kind of desaturated. You see, not much on the colder side. glaze that in the shadow area here. Okay, I will take some of that very dark gray, in fact looks almost like a black, to do just the very middle of the recess. I don't know if you can see it on camera. I want it, you know, almost black, but there is kind of something in the middle here. Yep, okay. Okay, something like this. Yeah, okay, now how can I reincorporate my red reflection? Let me think. Because I did all of that. Because I had some red stuff here that didn't belong. So I had to redo the whole of this like kind of bright orange reflection. And now I have to redo the red. That's the exploratory painting, of course. That's what I'm doing here. I will do just something simple. Just a red reflection like this. Yeah, okay. Just something like this. Bring it to the red and highlight it, and no other color. Integrate it into the orange. Something like this. Enough. And I will highlight in the center. Okay. For the highlight, let me check. Could use this kind of carmine red. Vallejo. Oh, yeah, it's bright. But red are easy to glaze. Reds, if you wish. Okay. And I can always glaze back with the dark red. Whoops, everything is falling apart. Yep, okay. Let's do it. If you enjoyed the live, guys, of course you can consider subscribing. You would be very welcome to join along. And you can also check my long form videos as well as the shorts. So in the long forms I do dioramas. In the shorts it's more highlight of the lives. I think it's almost enough. Almost. Yeah, I will bring a bit of light on there, but just so slightly. I will try with this one. Vermilion or vermilion. Just to bring a bit of punch. I can glaze back on top if it's too much. But don't think I'm far from it. And also, once I've done that, I will have to do the center of the shield. Oh. Okay. So a bright, punchy red that does not lose saturation. That's what this vermilion is. And maybe it's exactly what I need here. But definitely I would need a better brush. I would need to switch to my fine Kolinsky brush. Oh yeah, now we're talking. I think it's interesting. Interesting enough to maybe to be allowed to stay and to live on this shield. Not brighter, it's not necessary. Yeah, you know what? I may end the live here and I will give myself a bit of time to think about it and how to refine it. But for now, I think it's pretty much it. So thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed, and yeah, subscribe if you want to see more, or if you think what I do is worthy of your subscription, then I would be very thankful. Have a good one, guys, and see you next time. And voila.